I think there was one time the police went to my mom's house.
Oh, wow.
Because they were like, investigating.
Your mom's like,
my mom got freaked out.
Hey,
what I
what
was
are
trying
you
to
doing?
do.
You're trying to do anything funny.
And then it's already like 1 or 2 years in, you can realize that your son quit his job and then come back unemployed for 2-3 years trying to do so many
Shout out to
different
Tianwei's mom.
Hi everyone, welcome to the
Wow Podcast.
and we are Unconventional. My name is Raymond
And I'm Edmund.
and we are the hosts for today.
Yep.
If it's the first time tuning into our podcast, in this podcast we talk about everything and anything that covers topic between the two groups, leaders and the new age workforce.
That's right.
Yeah, so topics like disengagement, work culture, leadership, we talk about them. Alright, for today is actually our last episode.
Yeah.
And we saved the best for the last, right?
Wow.
Haha. Okay, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, so for today, our guest is actually Tianwei.
Yay.
Yay! So a proper introduction of Tianwei for guys who do not know him. Basically, he's a Group Deputy CEO of Fazz Financial. And of course, recently they have closed their Series C and a $500 million company.
Wow.
$1 billion company, yes. So basically for Tianwei, he actually has been very active in the fintech scene. He's also the co-founder of XFirst and StreetX. Yeah. Back in 2015, he was accepted into the batch for YC, the very famous, accelerator startup, Y Combinator, right? With him today, maybe Tianwei, you want to give us a quick shout out of who you are and what you do in this case. Right?
Yay.
Hey, thank you, Raymond.
Welcome.
Thanks for inviting me. Hi, everyone. My name is Tianwei.
Hello.
I'm one of the co-founder of Fazz right now. So Fazz is an SME neobank. We serve SME across Singapore and Indonesia by providing them with banking services from saving, loans, and we also serve quite a bit of fintech in this space by providing API services if they need to tap on anything that's related to banking and payment. We'd love to have a chat with them.
Awesome.
Nice. Okay, so maybe you want to tell us a bit more, like, since we've known you for a while.
Yep.
But
For our
maybe,
listeners, yeah.
Yes. So like, maybe tell us a bit how you landed where you are.
Yeah.
Like fintech, why, and all that. Bit background.
I was an engineer working at first at a startup in the Bay Area. Then eventually transited to Amazon. I was there working on big data. Before it was cool lah. It was just called Hadoop and all those stuff. We were doing that for Amazon Web Services, related to their Lab 126 unit, which is the unit that produce the Kindle devices.
Yep.
So we are just ingesting all the information of what you do on your Kindle, serve you ads. The ads that comes out. That's what we do.
That was you.
Yeah, in some sense lah. But we are just the data processing pipeline. I didn't do the advertising side. I just help to ingest what's happening over there. It was an interesting time. Spent about 3 years there.
Okay.
But eventually, first I think Asia is home. So I come back every year. And then at the same time, I also starting to get bored. Initially, all these are exciting, right? As you do scaling and stuff, it was of a different scale.
Okay.
But then you realize that over time, you're just serving first world problem lah. I'm just really just optimizing how much data can we solve.
Okay.
It's fun for the first time, but subsequently you're like, okay, I'm just tweaking it a bit here, a bit there. What is the real world impact? My friend was just looking at I was just pretty much helping to sell more ads or figuring out what exactly is the user doing with the Kindle devices. So I was like, okay, it was fun at first.
All right.
Eventually you got a bit bored and you're thinking what can you do more, right? So that was where I chanced upon problems in Asia Pacific. I think then was that a lot of friends were starting e-commerce companies.
Yep.
That
was the boom.
That was the boom. 2015, 2014 period,
Yeah.
right? I came back. I think there's a lot of blog shop. And then a couple of friends was asking me that, what are you guys doing to do?
Yeah.
At the same time, I was looking at Amazon, right? So Amazon Paper Kindle White came out. And a lot of people, friends wanted to have it. That was before Amazon was even in this part of the world, right?
All right.
So they were like, hey, can you help me buy some?
Yeah.
So you have employee discount, but it's like Amazon is very cheap lah. So Amazon discount is 10%, but capped at $1,000, I think. So we bought I bought a bunch of them, ship it back. I think sometime it was during Christmas.
What's a bunch?
Like 20 of them.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about this later. All right.
So then send it back to the folks. Everyone have it, but when it comes to payment, it was a pain lah. Then we couldn't figure out how to pay me, right? So I was working in the Bay Area by then. It's about 5 to 6 years. And then things like Venmo, PayPal, and all those things are pretty common to me. Right? I was like, I wasn't even going to the bank much already by then. I was like, okay, Just
but we
bank
don't have those over here.
Oh yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
Right,
true.
so I was asking them to pay me, and they were like, "Nah, we don't have a way to pay you Venmo." PayPal was like charging 3%
Yeah.
for peer-to-peer transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So end up like, okay, you have a DBS bank account. I'm born and raised here, right? So I do. I was like, yeah, just DBS bank transfer.
Good that you kept it.
But then there was no fast transfer and pay now as well. So all they
not at
did,
that point of
not at
time,
that
right?
point, they were just doing
Yeah.
this gyro transfer that took 2 to 3 days, and then they were trying to figure out your bank account number. And then when the recipient comes in, it's just a nominal amount, right? And it doesn't show you who is it from.
Okay.
So imagine you're sending email, then you're still sending the email, 20 people. Just
and
trying to
it's
figure
from
out
20 different people.
trying to figure out who never pay, right? And then I remember I was like getting like 17 or 19 transfer, and one of the transfer or two of the transfer was like double the amount.
Ooh.
So you could never figure out who is that. Then it's like, okay lah,
So
not that
inefficient,
desperate.
right?
Yeah.
Those are your friends, it's fine. But then by then, it's after Christmas, it's Chinese New Year, right? You know,
Mm.
Chinese New Year cannot 欠过年, right? I was like,
Yeah.
hey, what's still going on? I still couldn't figure out who.
That is a very local problem.
Yeah, I was like, hey, until now, still couldn't figure out. Then we're like, okay, we eventually sorted it out. But that was the inception ideas, right? At the same time that there were people trying to start blog shop. So I talked to a few friends. They're like, hey, we are, have a blog shop, do very well. I was like, good. What's the typical problem? We have this payment problem. We have this. I remember what they used was launch every weekend, new item launch. Then they're like 300, 400 purchases at the same time. Then same problem.
That was also the boom period for blog shops, right? Before
Exactly.
e-commerce really took off in the way that we see it right now.
Yeah, they don't actually do PayPal and anything. Same thing, bank transfer was the norm.
Yeah.
And that was gyro bank transfer. So you see them just pasting their bank account on some kind of Facebook link. I don't know where I got Facebook now. I just like blog on the blog, ask people to transfer, and then they were just receiving payment. Then I remember that how I got to know it was that they were reaching out to NOC, looking for interns. And I was like, okay, because I was happy to interview some people. Then I was like, the interns were interviewed to basically go there to be sales support specialists. But actually, the job they were doing is just
admin role.
Just to match the payments and all the...
Reply to the chat, okay, I received your payment, that kind of thing, right? So it's a bit ridiculous to me. I was like, oh, so we could have solved it. So that's how we kind of started looking at the problem.
Okay.
And then we were very early. I was an engineer, right? Weekends, typically, I stay in a bunch of Singaporeans and engineers and immigrants that were staying in the same place area. We call it the gig house. And then on a weekend basis, they will play Dota, right? That's how we usually spend the weekend on. I was like, after a while, I was like, I want to do something. So I just started coding. I just wanted to figure out whether I can automate this process, right?
Okay.
So writing a code to solve this problem.
Okay.
And it was just started for myself. I was starting to work on. I remember the other day we have a celebration in the company. The company's source code, GitHub, right?
Yeah.
The first line of checking was by me, right? And and it was actually done on I realized 4th of July.
Wow.
4th of July, I think 2012, 2013, I can't remember.
You picked the right day, right?
Epic.
So pretty much that's exactly what happened, right? I was so frustrated with this problem, and then I was looking for a time to work on it. 4th of July, for those that don't know, in US is the
it's
Independence Day,
right?
Everybody go barbecuing and stuff.
You were coding.
I was writing code lah. I was
The source code.
I stay at home, work on this whole thing. Then the first check-in was on 4th of July.
But I guess things happen for a reason, right? You have a software engineer from Singapore working in America, saw a problem, and have the skill set and had the time off on Independence
And always wanted to come back to Asia and surf and all that.
I wanted to do it, so I just basically go ahead and do it lah. When we first started, no idea what exactly is fintech or anything. I just know I'm trying to solve a problem. And it was me working on weekend on it, part time on it. Eventually got a bunch of table of people playing game and you're working on shit. Apparently had side effects. So my co-founder, which is my CTO, eventually we always nearly got scammed to do the job lah. I was like, what the hell are you doing? They were like, they want me to play Dota. I was like, no, I want to work on this. Like, I will help you with this thing.
So you really recruited them to code with you.
Oh really? Is that how it happened?
It works a few times. I remember they were like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I need to fix this problem. They're like, can you play the game with us first? I'll help you later.
Now I know why they call it the gig house.
So Victor, my co-founder, was kind of like roped in somehow like this.
Shout out to Victor. Before we go on to that, right? Maybe we should introduce our friends here.
Yes. Too excited. Really. Okay, so you see there's this yellow color called the Aha Boy, and this is the Boo Boo Boy. Yeah, so Aha Boy, basically, if you have like moments of aha and something that you really feel positive about, you do this.
Yep.
But this is whereby you feel like you want to swear or there's something frustrating. That you
it's a family friendly show. So
what the?
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what you do.
All right.
This will be used a lot, I think.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah, by all means. Sorry, back to the question again.
Yeah, correct. So I want to know like how was this grind? I mean, any like quick reflections of this 8 years in this case?
Yeah.
No, it passed very fast. Like I said, when we had celebration, actually the code was almost 10 years plus already.
Oh, wow.
So I was working on this project part-time for a very long time, right? Even when I was like, I think, I don't know when, I forgot, I think 2012. So it's actually more than 10 years already, right? Just, it started with an idea and a concept. So it's like, in some sense, my friend would say it's an obsession, right? Just want to work on it. Just work on it. Regardless of whether this become a company or not, I was just literally working on it. But I do have objective of eventually making a company. I just don't know when, right?
Right.
And then things just keep coming your way. The next thing you just keep doing. So you kind of forget about it.
So it's just in a flash that 10 years just went by since
I wouldn't say it's a flash, but it's not that bad. Like, but at the same time, it's like, you don't really count. I don't really count. It's like, I'm not looking like this is the next year I clock. I don't really think about it. I think I was working at Amazon, right? I think Jeff Bezos using one thing that reminded me. He said it before, right? People overestimate how much thing can be done in a year, but you typically underestimate how much can be done in 10 years.
Yes.
So in some sense, this is 10 years already, right?
Okay.
So a lot have been done.
Yeah.
But every year when you look at it, it's like, I want to do so many things this year, right? You plan how to finish, right?
It's not just about the company's growth, right? The way I look at it is about the people in the company growing and maturing into different stages of life. That's what I've been hearing quite a bit from Tianwei.
Yeah.
And it factors into your considerations as a founder, your expectation of your people as well. And can I say that maybe certain expectations in the company would change
of course,
along the way as well as your...
Definitely, right? I think as the company grew, right now we are around across the region about 700 plus people, 800 people, which is scary to me as a concept. I still remember I was talking to the HR.
So you're responsible for like 800 people's livelihood, right?
So I still, so like I say, just caught up with the Indonesian team the other day. One of the HR staff, which I recruited about 4 or 5 years ago, reminded me that when I was interviewing her, she came from a big company and was like, how big the company will grow. I was like promising her that, I don't think it will ever be more than 200 people. I don't want it to be more than 200 people.
So back then was like what, less than 100?
Less than 50 people.
Less than 50 people.
But you're not more than 4x.
Kind of. What did I sign up for, man?
means quite a bit of amount.
Because more people means more work for the HR.
She was like, wow, you kind of told me that it would never be more than, but right now where we are, I was like, So it's like, it's growing pains. So there are a lot of things.
But I'm sure she grew with the company as well, right?
She did. I think they did an awesome job, right? But at the same time, you realize that then the expectation of the people is different. And then some people will grow into it very well and they're great leaders. And there are other people that, might not be comfortable going to that scale, right? And then you say that they have to take a lesser role and that transition itself is the difficulty in managing people.
Okay. I think coming to this, there's something I'm very interested to ask as every time I meet leaders and founders is, I think it might be linked to that, but just in general, I'm sure, you don't reach a $500 million valuation without going through highs and lows. But I would love to know what were some of the toughest period that you faced during this journey. I'm sure there are times that it's not difficult. Like we mentioned just now, you don't even know whether next month we'll be here. I'm sure that's not easy to go through. But
mental stress is
So but other than that, what were the challenges that you actually went through?
Those that make you cry, those that make you feel pain. No, 10 years, right? I mean, those people who are in the scene, I don't know, as founders, 2-3 years in, there's 7 more, 10 years. You have so much insight. Too many. Too many.
So, because typically people see the glamorous side of a successful startup founder, but it's not easy, right? We all know that. The grind that you have to go through. But it's really for you to probably share with us what are some of the tough things that you really have to go through.
Maybe I will just I take a point, right? I was talking to the team the other day as part of our year-end retreat, right? Like, everyone is telling you that the next year is going to be hard. So I have to tell you the next year is going to be hard.
Okay. we do get that sentiment nowadays.
Now times are very bad, right? So the whole entire industry is ahead. And you can see the
industry as in the
tech winter.
Tech winter is here, and then at the same time you can see that the investment in this space is greatly reducing. So which affects a lot of us. We are a VC funded company after all. So the climate is not too good, and then hearing a lot of drastic news across the board, and that's affecting a lot of people.
Okay.
So at the same time, basically we are also affected. We are thinking about how to basically really survive, right, in the next few years and really extend the runway, think about all those things that you're doing. And it's never comfortable to do that with a lot of people, right? It's going to have their livelihood affected.
Yeah.
So, preparing them for that part of it. But then at the same time, that's why I say things keep happening. You think that it's bad, but then you look back in some juncture. We've been through worse as well, right? I'm remembering the team that. So Singapore side, like I say, we started the company just building crawler around it. like when I was just 3-4 guys, we don't have any API, we have no licenses, MES don't know who I am, we don't even work with anybody, right? Literally, when we started the company, is myself open a bank account, start working on the whole thing already, right? So you can imagine the journey that went through, right? I think some of the highs and the lows happen about the same time, right? When you get traction, you get a lot of users. Then in our line of our work with payment, right? Fraud will come. That's a part of it, right? Fraud will come, and usually it's nothing to do with you. It's just that the abuser abuse, because we're an API platform. We provide this as a service for other people.
They use every ways and
they
means
will
to
abuse the other people's platform, and then get a lot of police case involved. Right? Usually we scam people to transfer money into some platform. And then they will launder the money out, right? And then you are the intermediary that's servicing it, and you get affected. Right? So I think 2017, 2018, bank shut down and court cases and police cases was like every other week, man. Like
all-time high.
All-time high. Like typically every other week or every other month, we have a notice from our banking partner saying that they need to close our bank account or shut down what we're doing.
Okay.
And then and from engineering side, it's a lot of disruption, right? We have to go through that. So that's why you think like whether the company will survive or not, right? The company started operating, the bank account gets shut down, which is a very crucial piece of what you can do. Then you have a few pending police cases that you have to go and help the police in investigation. Then your licenses with MES is still, taking its time. Doesn't know what's going on. So there's a lot of uncertainty then. And if you ask me, those are one of the very low point and the high point. Right? Like, what the hell is happening, right? But you managed to pull through that. We survive. We convince the regulators that we are decent people. We convince the police force that we are helpful people. Right?
Now you get awards every year, right?
Now we have a very good relationship. They actually know us by name. They call us up, ask us for advice about how to deal with this kind of fraud cases. We're like, okay, we build a system for you guys. So it's like it's a journey, right? It's where you feel high, right? Like now you realize that last time they were. Before that, I was joking with one of the madam that's always doing the investigation. Now become very good friend. Right? Last time, like by default, they would just send a court order. The next thing we know, I think one of the very low point was that when I started the company, like I said, I was in the Bay Area, right? So my registered company address for a long time was my parents' house.
Okay.
Because Singapore allowed that to do that, right? They don't have an operating. So when I was operating, even when I got back in Singapore, we forgot to change the address, right? So we continue operating as per normal. I think there was one time the police went to my mom's house. Because they were like investigating.
Your mom like,
my mom got freaked out.
Hey,
what I
what
was trying to do.
You're trying to do anything funny.
And then it's already like 1 or 2 years in, you can realize that your son quit his job and then come back unemployed for 2-3 years trying to do so many.
Shout out to Tianwei's mom.
Man, that was it was a crazy period of time, right?
Go for it.
Your parents get very stressed out. Asian Singaporean parents, they have no idea what you're working at.
For sure.
I doubt she understands.
And you will even understand, even if you try to explain, right?
They couldn't understand, right? And then you have police appearing at your door, right? Wow, you're like stunned. What the hell is happening over there? You're like, okay. Well, you need to change the address. That's the only answer I can give. Other than that, I don't know what to reply. Okay, let me change the address first and I'm going to deal with that. So there are a lot of these kind of things that happens, right? So you're like telling guys that, come on. The market is bad. We are very fortunate that investors believe in us. We just close around. Yes, the climate is going to be bad. We have to cut back. We have to figure out how to visually keep the best people that we have and basically make people work twice as hard, right? But is it worse than what we have? I don't know. I will tell you if I look at it, I don't think so, right? Right? We have the runway. We're going to be here. We are stronger than ever. We have licenses, regulators. We're okay, right? So, but then of course the challenges that you're facing right now is different, right? The expenses you're facing. Then you don't have so much pressure with so many workforce and so many people involved. It's a lot lesser people, and when shit goes wrong, you can get in a room and then people can come down. And they know each other personally, right? They were like, okay, we didn't do bad things. We are trying to solve the problem. So it's different, lah. It's different.
Okay.
I have a very difficult question to ask you, but you try your best, because like going through this phase as founders, I mean, let's talk about the white elephant here. Like, there are layoffs, right? There are probably going to be cost-cutting measures as a founder in this case, and many of the companies have done that. So is this one of those bigger problems that you're looking at, or actually it's still okay? It's just some restructuring a little bit of that.
I think over these years, things that keep me away over time is like I always saw is really related to that, right? When you have when you talk about cost-cutting, you talk about people's life, you talk about their livelihood and all the stuff. These are the things that really affects me. At least I still haven't figured out how to get over it. Whenever I look at it, those are the meetings I hate the most, right? I have to figure out how to, have investor discussion about whether our cost efficiency are over there, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't get easier; it just get harder, right? As you say, more people are impacted. But at the same time, we are very fortunate, right? Like say we managed to close, we convinced the investors that we don't have to make drastic changes.
Okay.
That's good.
BAU is okay. But at the same time, we also know that we really need to ramp up on productivity because have everyone working remotely, and it's a nuclear arm race, right? As everyone come back to office, there is this momentum that you need to make sure that everyone ramp up their throughput at the same time. It's depending on what your competitors are doing as well, right? So performance management becomes something that we really have to take very seriously. And that will also mean to say that there are people that we will look at it and realize that they are not meeting the cut. So those are the tough conversation, of course, now across the board. People are very sensitive that we're having with some of the key leaders to understand that, we don't have to make drastic cuts, but we have to hold the bar very high. If you realize that the folks is really not keeping up, and as the manager, you need to think about whether it's a trade-off, right? You want to keep this one person on the whole team and drag the whole team down, or realize that actually letting this person go is actually a blessing in disguise for this person itself, right? Yeah, it's difficult. I think those are the things, that hard conversation that we're having with some of the key manager. Then they are also, as you can see, the company is young, right? A lot of us are first-time manager. Right? We've never managed people. It gets emotional for everyone.
Okay.
But as you do it, you realize that sometimes works both ways. Right? It's not that the folks it's not suitable for us. We are not suitable for them, right? Sometimes you also recognize that you make a wrong decision here, right? They are not good culture fit with us. Their work style is just not as suitable for this kind of environment. Nothing wrong with their capability, right? They might be really good at doing very large scale stuff, but you are like literally on the bleeding edge, right? You can't have the resources or the ability for them to use their talents. Then it's our fault, right? We couldn't let them reach that thing, and we thought there's a mismatch over here. Keeping them around might not be helpful for them as well. We need to have a discussion about their performance, which is their results, right? If they deliver results, I think will work out. And we have seen folks that have done that, right? Even if it's a different industry, they come in, they're able to adapt quickly and get to the next phase. But there are folks that are really not catching up. And you are probably wasting their time by trying to just keep doing this with them.
Well, this is really insightful, especially for like founders who are going through this phase. Because I mean, to me, we are also leaders ourselves. I think the objectivity is here is very clear. Performance results for the whole team, and for those who really can't, let's not say make the mark, maybe no feet, or they're not moving together at the pace that we want to. Actually, we can let them go, and it's nothing like no hard feelings in this case. But I mean, for us, we can see it this way. For those people who are closer to them, they also have to understand that we have to bridge this gap.
And this idea of fit is something consistent across this whole series, right?
Yes.
We hear other founders talking about this.
Yes.
So everyone has their own space and their own talents. And even if they're not with you, they probably can thrive somewhere else as well. That's something you consistently hear across the board for the different founders. So, okay, I want to ask this because looking at you, looking at the way you run things and do things, you say you face different challenges throughout this maybe 8-10 years of running the company. How do you handle being so high-strung over such a long period of time? So this is more personal.
It's more personal.
Speaking from a leader, a basis of a founder, how do you handle this constant mental stress. That you're in? Or you just ignore it, don't think about it.
I don't really think too much about it, to be honest. But I do find, avenue that you enjoy doing every now and then.
Going back to coding?
Actually, I have weekend projects that I work on that
nice.
just for fun, right?
Nice.
Like running a Ethereum full node or do something. I have a lot of different gadgets lying around in the house that my wife will ask me why you have all these things. Why
I'm distressing them.
It's a good excuse.
It's between that and Dota.
I don't play Dota anymore. That's the sad part of my life. I mean, it's like a Chinese New Year thing that you will revisit. Every night when Chinese New Year it's coming up soon, they'll ask me.
Is that what?
Next Stalker will come back again. Return of the lousy Next Stalker. Right, then my friends will give me a heads up and they're like, hey, please go and update first. I think you need to update your Steam. I need to update for a while before because they cannot call me and I'll go in the game. They call me 2 hours before. Let me download, update everything first. Wait. It will be coming soon. They're like, wait for him a bit. Later he will come on. So that
so this is on a personal basis. You have your rituals around you.
I try to do. I think one thing I was telling my wife and she doesn't understand. I mean, she gets it, but she was like, why do you keep trying to do? Aren't you bored? But I will want some routine in my week that I will do the same thing every. I like routines in a certain extent, even though it's quite impossible to have routines across the work, right? But if you find a few things that is your routine, it helps me reset. For example, I'll go for a run on Wednesday, I'll go for it, right?
Okay.
Or I'll eat my breakfast the same way every day. There are certain things that I will want to make sure it's in control.
Okay. So it makes you feel that you're in
control.
of things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I start my day right? I was like, I'm good because I managed to finish all these things that I want to do last night.
Okay.
Or if I have a reset on Wednesday or reset on Friday, I'll go for a run or go to the gym. I know I have done the it's a checkbox thing for me. I don't know. I will be able to reset. After that, it's like, this is my me time. I'm doing it correctly.
Peace while in chaos. You're in control and all that. You do certain things.
Certain part I think is needed lah. And if I can take a half a day more to go and sleep, I'll be very happy also as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the HR at Fazz, can you all give Tianwei a half day leave?
No. So
just stay at home.
So this part actually relates to a part on strengths in this case. I mean, Tianwei has done through Clifton's strengths, etc. Actually, this talent team we all three have a ranger. You know, like for us, we deal with chaotic situation. The more complex it is, we actually want more tribe in it. But actually, it's quite nice to hear the perspective of having routine for a ranger. Because as a ranger, we actually can for those who don't know, a ranger we go with the flow and we can like manage multiple projects at one shot. We can rearrange our time. We can make sure that things get done.
Which Tianwei definitely can do, knowing what he does. Yeah.
And then now that, but with this, they balance it all with some routine, etc. and all that.
Yeah.
So have you been practicing strengths? Like which one? And any like connections to like some of the strengths that you always relate to or reflect on in this period as you are founder?
I think I try to tone down my command. But it's difficult.
It's a very common theme in Fazz itself, right? You see a lot of command in your team.
Yeah, we have to take a step back on some of those things. But sometimes over control of it also a problem. Yeah. So need to figure out how to find a balance. Yeah. And you need I think for that you need your teammates to basically even know that that's your style and help you regulate it a bit.
Yeah. Because something I learned from Edmund last time, because he was also my mentor, would be like actually even though that we know that, let's say, command has certain trade-offs, like people will be fearful of us, etc. But we shouldn't totally shift who we are. Yeah, we need to be ourselves. Yeah, hence what you said was really correct. Like people need to understand I'm like that. No intention, I'm just being who I am.
Truly embrace it. But just be also very aware of it as well. I think that helps to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, because as leaders, we are self-reflective, we're introspective. Okay, I know this hurts you, I'll try to regulate this portion. But we cannot go to the space where it eats into our boundary and then we feel frustrated in this case.
Correct.
I think the balance is always
the people will feel frustrated around you as well because you're not behaving like what they expect you to behave normally. Like the meeting is dragging on and you're like, usually he would have stepped in by now. He's still cooking.
So now you're at the other spectrum.
You overcompensate, right? They're like waiting for Tianwei is going to come in.
Usually Tianwei will have come in.
Then you're down there, control.
Waiting for the Slack message to come in. Hey, what you not saying?
Hey, your turn.
Okay, then you can tune up. Then you can move up again. Okay, that's good. I guess
it's always a journey, right? And it's not, I guess it's dynamic as well. So it doesn't mean that in different settings you have to apply yourself differently, right? So knowing the team at Fazz, you have a lot of command. You maybe someone else can step up. It doesn't have to be you. But given the situation, if you read it correctly, I guess that's a very natural part of you to actually do that. Yeah. Good to hear that. So I think throughout all the stories that you have shared today, it gives me a basic idea about who you are as a leader. So one thing that I always love to talk about when I speak to founders, right, and leaders, right, is I'll use this simple system called the 6 Styles of Leadership by Goleman. So I'll do a quick run through on this because then maybe we can have a chat on which one do you identify a little bit more with. Okay, so in that system there are like 6 different styles of leadership, emotional styles. So there's a pace setting style, which is do as I do. Okay, there's a commanding style, although it's the same word command, right? But that one is really like you rise up and say, let's do this, let's go. Okay, very, very similar to Clifton command. There's an affiliative style whereby you build good relationship with your guys, and through your relationship you get things done through
abang, let's go.
So then you have your democratic style. Democratic style is whereby again you work with talented people, you know, and you want that there are feedback on a certain issue, so you get everyone to come in and chip in, and then you take the consensus over there. So what else do we have? We have the visionary style, who definitely where we see this a lot in founders. Basically, you sell the vision, you inspire people to move forward with you. So I think I've covered.
The last one is coaching.
The coaching style as well. So as the name implies, you're someone who actually help people to grow. And as they grow along with you, they buy you as a leader. Yeah. So out of these 6 different styles, right? Maybe you can share with us what are the styles that you employ on a day-to-day basis at this juncture, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a quick rule of that, right?
Yeah.
I think, it sounds like, so the main thing is like, it sounds like that it's not that you're only one specific style.
For sure.
I see.
So the challenge of every leader is to be as diverse as possible.
You want to have a wider range.
Yeah. But maybe in your current situation,
it depends on situation.
Yes,
certain
okay.
situation you will use certain different style. Not every one style can be truly scalable lah. That's the problem, right? If you take the commanding one that you do everything yourself and others want to do, it's useful in time sensitive situation.
Yeah. So
And
crisis mode. We need
right?
this done.
You just this done.
Yeah.
People expect you to jump in. I'll just jump in lah.
Yeah.
And then that
Alright.
itself is much more effective, right? But it's not scalable. You cannot keep doing that, and the team won't be able to
Fantastic.
grow on that itself.
Mm.
The abang relationship building things is ideal, but it's also not truly scalable, right? How many people can you actually have that
Definitely.
kind of
Yeah.
one-to-one relationship?
Okay.
And
Thinking truly like a founder.
Yeah.
Thinking of scaling even from
Yeah.
leadership style
No,
perspective.
it's
Now
not
cannot be
yeah.
1 to 3. Now it's like 1 to 600. How do I get out?
that kind of it's what you learn over time, right?
Yeah.
You can't keep doing that.
Okay.
Early days you can do it. So some of the early folks that have in the past, we can have very strong relationship over there, so it's easier.
Okay.
But you realize that you cannot keep doing that itself.
Yeah.
Right? There
Okay.
will be a limit of how much you can do also there as well.
Okay.
And it is also similar to coaching, right? Because coaching
Yeah.
itself is also very time consuming, right?
Oh, yes. Very.
You can't
You have to be very invested.
You have to be very, very invested.
Mm.
So ideally, you can just run the visionary one and it will just work lah. In reality, it doesn't work that way also, right?
Of course.
Because first, you probably, let's be admit, right? Your vision is not that clear lah. No one understand lah.
Yeah.
Just roughly on a paper, this is the rough direction. Getting there itself, getting the vision clear takes a lot of work, and it's about refining that over time. So then it usually end up being a mixture.
Yeah.
You find the right situation to apply accordingly. Yeah.
That's great.
And I don't claim to be an expert lah. I just basically
Yeah.
react accordingly to what I think.
I guess you've grown
Yeah.
along the way as a leader as well. So
Yeah.
so I love your awareness when you talk about the visionary leadership portion, right? So interesting enough, because this podcast is about connecting the divide, right? From the young workforce to the forward thinking bosses. So one thing we actually learned from one of our previous episodes, right, is actually sometimes the young workers, right, they don't buy so much of the visionary these days because there are too much of the mumbo jumbo out there.
Yeah.
Whether a vision is clear or not clear, right? Is it the real thing? That's also always on their mind. So it's not to say whether your vision is right or wrong. It's because they have been exposed to so much of this, right? That it doesn't connect with them that well.
Yeah.
So it's really not just about standing out there, be the top dog, and then telling everyone, okay, this is it. It's always trying to sell this. I don't think it works that way as well. Yeah. So, but you're hyper aware of that, and you do know that you need a diversity of different styles to apply in different period of times. Yeah. So great to hear that. Definitely.
Yeah, but I think my connection to this would be because, like, I think we talk about this. You need to have a group of ground leaders, etc. Maybe we can still influence that 8 or 10.
Yeah.
But 8 or 10 will start to cascade down the message with hopefully the same level of tenacity to talk about why this is important, why we care, why even Tianwei care, why the leaders care, etc. Then there will be chance during those human activities that the culture will be built and the vision or whatever the purpose will be cascaded. Takes time, but I think at least it has stronger connection with the younger group of people with like what's really happening.
Yeah. And I guess when it comes to people, that is probably one of the only ways you can scale.
Yeah.
You can't write a code and then everyone just plug it in,
Imagine
right?
you can do that.
It's very hard.
Run the code in the mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to run this.
Yeah.
So I think I read a book before about this, right? I
Yeah.
say it's very hard to do that to that point, but if you are successful, it'll be good, right? The main thing is about, I think Google was talking about leadership styles that really managerial, the successful manager. What are their attribute, right? I think one of those things is that you must be consistent in I think predictably is a wrong word. The right word is basically
Consistency,
right? They know what the manager want, right? If you can already predict 90% of the time that this will be okay with the manager, it's a lot of empowerment for the people below.
Yeah. They know the boundaries.
They know the
where you
boundary.
stand.
So I that's where I try lah. If that's the case, I think that will be a success, right? You know, your guys will be able to say in situation that I think we'll be okay with this.
Yeah.
Then if we
Speed of decision.
hear that Tianwei will be okay with this through another channel, you realize that it's actually okay. Then it's probably working lah.
Okay.
Okay.
But the problem is, as it scale, you realize that it's not. They sometimes stop using that, or they realize that the disconnection is there here and there. So that happens as well.
Okay.
Right? So it's going to be a journey lah. I feel.
Yeah. Definitely. And it has already been such a journey for Fazz, right? And for yourself, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why don't we talk about the younger generation? Any you have to speak to some of them. You have been a leader. Like, what advice do you have for them, or what kind of things you want to tell
It's
them?
a bit depressing to call them the younger generation. Sounds like I'm very old, which I also have to admit I'm getting old.
Okay, we're still millennial.
No, they are
trying
just
to-
younger.
We're trying to find a balance in between.
Yeah.
Advice for them in what form?
Like,
what type?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
So from
if-
a founder, from an employer point of view, what would you love to see from the new workforce coming into the company or into the tech scene in general? What advice do you have for them?
No, maybe I'll turn it around. I will just give advice when I was a younger self, right? That I found things that worked out, right? I think sometimes people always say that you need opportunities and you need quite a bit of luck, right? But in some sense, I always tell people that I realized this along my career that luck is something about being prepared and then making opportunity at the same time, right? So a lot of this thing is really about boils down to the centerpiece of what I call showing up, showing up, being there, right?
Okay.
And it takes effort to do that consistently.
Yep.
And I look back at some of my career, like I said, I told you the story, right? I go to the US. I just go lah, right? You show up, right? And I spend a lot of time physically being there.
Yep.
And am I the best guy? Sometimes I always say that I don't think I'm the best guy. I just think that because I'm the guy that's convenient, they look around and they saw somebody. And there's a lot of this kind of situation in my huge part of my career, right? I realized being the bigger fish in the smaller pond always help a lot because you are the only few people that's present over there.
Okay.
You conveniently get most of the opportunity. So if I advise a lot of the newer people that have been just going to workforce, don't take an effort. Like you can do video call, sure, but I tell you, if you like, I think one of the advice I read online somewhere was like someone was talking about it. You want a job, you can always do it remotely. You want a career, try to show up. Showing up.
this is
Same stuff.
Showing up. Yeah.
Showing
Awesome
up is
stuff.
important, right?
Yeah.
You actually have physical interaction with people.
Yeah.
People recognize you and they know who you are. They can know your name. They know your face, right?
Yeah.
You have a much higher chance to get more opportunity. Of course, I'm saying that you must do your work. It's not you just like
don't fluff.
show up.
It's not
That's
gonna
right,
work, right?
yeah.
But you must remember that is also a very key essential
Okay.
part for opportunity to come your way. So
Nice.
the newer folks, in fact, it's good to always work at home and stuff, but I will make it a point that I will try to show up,
Okay.
right? Being there when it's present. Like I saw that a lot in my career, right? Like when you go to US, when I was in Indonesia, a lot of those. Like I said, I fly before
Every
the pandemic.
week, right?
I fly every week. I just fly there on a budget airline Monday night on AirAsia. I'll come back on Saturday or Sunday.
And you're saying that you're like one of the top don't know what
oh
customer out there.
AirAsia for
Just special members.
special member for budget airline.
Constant free upgrade or some shit. is it?
Constant free upgrade. I've upgraded from the back of the seat all the way to the now I think I go back, they show me back to the back again. I always book very late, right? The last few guys that book. But if you do it so much, they just put you in front, right? So but that showing up period was what I contributed to some of the success that we had in Indonesia, right?
Great
Because
advice.
I just gone there and then the same thing applies to regulators, same thing applies to banking partners and stuff. They want to see that
You're really there.
you're really there and you're
serious
true
about
for your work, right?
Yeah.
Like the first banking field relationship that we had, I was there every week. They were like, okay, the same guy came back and he
They're
said
still
he will do
there.
this.
Okay.
Next week he come back, he will be there again, right?
Alright.
Okay.
Alright.
You consistently show up. I think that itself shows a lot of
Awesome.
credibility lah. So
Wow.
I advise a lot of them
Yeah.
to if I were you, don't you have to do digital, you bo pian, right?
Yeah,
Do
but
digital,
switch on your camera.
Switch on your camera,
minimally.
show face,
Show face.
and make sure that you find opportunity to
Okay.
mingle with your coworker.
Wow, awesome. I love how Tianwei is
Oh,
still
this is
so
good.
humble about
This is good. This is
who
good.
he is, still showing up. And
And this is really good advice that you guys Tandio. Yeah. What about for the leaders?
Yeah,
To round it up.
Maybe maybe for the young founders.
Young founders
yeah.
or even
founders,
peer founders who are actually
Yeah.
grinding it through. I don't know, like, there must be a lot of thoughts, advice, things just want to share with them. Yeah.
Wow, this one is hard. I think this period of time, I talked to a lot of some of the founders in
yeah.
the same shoes.
Yeah.
I think everyone share a common theme lah. Survive first lah.
Survive first.
Survive first.
Okay.
I think the rising tide breaks all boat, but when the tide goes down, same thing. Everyone will collapse a bit, right?
Yeah.
So now is you build your life raft lah. Initially, I think whoever companies that can survive this winter will come out a lot stronger on top.
Okay.
Right. So painful decisions are now being made by almost everyone in the market across the scene. Everyone is suffering.
Yeah.
So it's about how quickly you can react to this thing and then persevere on. I think that will be a good quick summary. I think no need to hear that from me lah. I think you're hearing that from almost everyone in the industry. And sometimes it's what I was saying, that it is it's self-fulfilling prophecy, right? When everyone is so depressed and this is the situation, this will bring down the whole. It'll get worse.
Okay.
So if you hear that being echoed by everyone already, you need to react. I think that's the key message that we all are trying to take it away. And for those folks that are just about to start off, this is the best time.
Winter is the best time to build, right?
Yeah,
You
grind out. No one cares about what is actually happening, or all the fluff and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Focus on the real problem,
build
build your product.
reduce the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to think too much about, like, let's be realistic here, right? Fundraising environment right now is going to be very, very bad in the next 1 or 2 years. When I first started the company, never fundraise, so I would just do well. I just, those are some of the things I miss, to be honest.
Okay.
I sometimes have frustration. If you ask me, I was like, when we realized that, wow, we have so many resources, cannot get one thing done. How could it be?
When you were just going
I was doing this myself. I was like, I get frustrated when I was like, oh
totally
my god.
understand that feeling.
Like now we have so much more resources and we are doing a simple things.
They're moving so slow. How
people are not moving.
Yeah.
Where's the essence of the early stage, ability to hustle and really just get every strip and means thing done, right? Like when you have very little, you get very resourceful, right?
Yeah.
You say, like, you talk banking, no partnership, right? Just start crawling. And they don't need a full engineering team. It's just myself really working on that whole thing. We did a lot of early days work that I realized that as you grow, people forget. Maybe just the scale of the company and the diversity of that. What's that happening?
This is a good time to remind everybody that we still need that to survive this period, right?
And then for some of the early founders and stuff, you realize that you can achieve a lot with very
limited resources,
very
right?
little.
Yeah.
Like the first few people, for a long period of time, right? We were like 4 or 5 people. We survived a couple of years without actually fundings.
Yeah,
right?
it can be done.
Can be done.
Yeah.
Can be done, right? If you're committed to get this thing done, yes, it's a bit slower, but you realize that it can be done. And then when you manage to get certain prototype and certain things really live with so little resources, you set yourself to be a very good position to eventually be able to fundraise or get more people to come in lah.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I would say. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
That's a different take, right? About the current situation right now.
Wow. So I think, like I said, we really saved the best for the last.
Yeah.
This is really a good session,
That
man.
was good enough.
Yeah, you guys are really, really very lucky in this case.
Yeah.
And this is really our last episode now that we have Tianwei sharing all this insight and all that, right?
Yep.
If you really like what he shared, the content you have, please like, subscribe, share this content and all that to our podcast in this case, right? So with this, I think we're going to round up the session, right?
Yep.
Right? Any final words for audience?
Coming to our me?
Yeah,
Me,
yes,
right?
you, yes.
Coming to our last episode, right? I guess throughout this series we have heard from different founders.
Yes.
We hear from football CEOs. We also hear from the other side. We hear from young workers who are very forward thinking, very mature. They also share their challenges. So I guess the premise of this podcast is there's a certain divide between the bosses and the ground.
Yep.
I guess there is, but throughout this whole season, right, we realize that there are a lot of things that very young, talented people, very forward-thinking leaders are actually applying and doing on the ground in their company or otherwise to really improve things.
Yep.
So give us, I mean, for me lah, I won't say us lah. For me, it gives me a lot of hope and optimism that I really don't think it will be so bad moving on. But it takes effort for all of us to really, really come together to make it work. And I guess when's a better time than the winter, right? The tech winter right now. So let's just strap ourselves in, work hard. We build this culture of surviving this period together. We'll probably come out a lot stronger subsequently, right?
And through this tough period, make sure the conversations happens, have that connection. Why? What do you want? What the boss want? What do yourself want? Work it out. I think the results will come and naturally you will form a good community from there. I guess the culture will be formed from there. All right, cool. All right, so now this comes to the really last episode. We're signing off here. My name is Raymond.
And I'm
Edmund. And this is Tianwei saying goodbye to you guys. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.